Hello, I'm Burt Green. This is the Burt Locker. This is terrible bets time. So terrible bets for UFC Vegas 79. But basically, what I do, I like to look at all the betting lines. I pick my favourites. I like to look for value more than anything. If there's value in a bet, I'll place it. I'll keep the stakes low. I'll keep the odds long. I'll keep the bets terrible because it's difficult to predict mixed martial arts. But I like to look for things that, where if the bet comes off, it's at least going to be worth putting the bet on. I don't really like betting on like the heavy favourites. It's just, I mean, if you want to do that, that's just not fun, is it? Always keep it fun, I would say. Do you know what I mean? Because I keep I keep the stakes so low that it is just like it's just having a bit of fun. Adds a little bit of spice to the fights on fight night. So yeah, anyway, the main one I'm looking at this week, I've got a little treble going, a knockout treble. I like a good knockout treble because. What I'm going with first is the heavyweights. You've got Muhammad Usman. Kamaru Usman's older brother. Scary looking cat. Real scary looking cat. Hell of a left hook as well. He really does. He has got some serious power. He's fighting Jake Collier, and Collier's not had the best run of form lately. And I just feel like Muhammad Usman can probably catch him over 3 rounds. You're getting good odds on that just as a single, honestly. You're getting like 3.5 to 1. On the knockout there. That's not too bad. So 4.33, but 3.5 to 1 in English. Muhammad Usman, scary cat. I like him for the knockout in that one because it's heavyweights, man. It's heavyweights. The consequences are far higher at heavyweight. Collier does tend to get hit quite a lot. Anyways, then you've got Brian Battle taking on AJ Fletcher. I like Brian Battle in that one by TKO knockout. He's got something stupid like a 10-inch reach advantage in this one. He's also got a very good clinch. He clinches well. He knees to the body very well. He usually does like to use his grappling, and he's excellent there. And so that's why you're getting shorter odds on the submission. So that's probably the better bet. But for me, I don't know why. I just feel like in this matchup, the knockout's going to present itself kind of more readily than the submission. I do think that he's going to have his way on the feet. I think he gets AJ Fletcher against the fence. I think he's going to just overwhelm him from a distance that AJ Fletcher's not going to be able to hit him back. It'll be knees to the midsection, and then he's going to put him down. I see a knockout TKO on that one. You're getting 5 to 1 on that. +6, 5 to 1 in English. Brian Battle. That's not bad. I quite like the value there. And then Dan Ige takes on Bryce Mitchell. I think that's in the co-main event. Now, don't get me wrong, that Bryce Mitchell is extremely good. And he was able to kind of take down and just dominate Edson Barboza, I think. I haven't even looked. That's how I remember it anyway. But either way, Bryce Mitchell, he is a grappler. He's a grappler first and foremost. His stand-up isn't brilliant. He is very good at getting the fights down to the ground. When he does, his grappling is on another planet, just like he is generally. He likes to argue, he wants to debate Joe Rogan on flat earth. He is, frankly, on another planet. But his grappling ability is also on another planet. But the problem he's got is this matchup. Dan Ige is extremely good. He's extremely good. He has got power in both hands. Watch that knockout that he got over Damon Jackson. Like it's ridiculous. And I think the problem that Bryce Mitchell's going to have is that Dan Ige is very difficult to take down because his hips are so good. Dan Ige is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt in his own right? I think if it's a straight grappling competition, Bryce Mitchell might be the better grappler, but it's not straight grappling. Bryce Mitchell's got to get it to the ground first. Dan Ige is not only a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, but he's a judo brown belt, right? So he's got those strong judo hips. Like, he's very difficult to move, very difficult to take down. When you add in throws and strikes, Dan Ige has power in both hands. He really does. He's got very good boxing. For me, Dan Ige could easily get the knockout here, and he's the underdog as well. You get him +5 on that. That's 4 to 1 in English. That's not a bad bet. So you put all those together, you put that treble on, you're getting 130 to 1 on that. That is a terrible bet. Don't touch it, but it's worth a quid. That's worth a quid. I think I put 2 on that actually. Yeah, that's worth 2. Because look, all of those things could easily happen. They probably won't, but the value in each of those things is there, and I've at least talked myself into believing that it could happen. So then you've got the MMA scratch card that I like to do on every event, where basically I go the whole way down the card and do win-loss, and it's like a scratch card, only you get to watch people punch each other in the face whilst you kind of scratching down the card. Very long odds, because the likelihood of calling all 11 correct is astronomical. I've actually put 2 on this week because I'm just so undecided on the main event. That I've actually put 2 on. So I'll read the whole one out, and then we've got a variable on the on the main event. So Tamires Vidal to beat Montserrat Rendon. I've got Mizuki Inoue to take out Hannah Goldie. Mohammed Usman to beat Jake Collier. I've got Cody Brundage to beat Jacob Malkoun. Now that's a really long shot one for some reason. I mean, I didn't look at the odds. I looked at I looked at how they match up. I thought Brundage kind of looked like he matched up okay, but I might be really wrong there, because the bookies have him as a 3.5 to 1 outsider, and just on a win-loss, that's a quite the underdog. Anyway, Tim Means, the Dirty Bird, to take out Andre Fialho. Miles Johns to beat Argueta. All of these underdogs, honestly. Again, I didn't look at the odds when I made my picks, but most of these are underdogs, which is worrying. Normally I get usually about a 9 out of 11 hit rate. I don't think I'm getting that on this one. Ricardo Ramos, another underdog, to beat Charles Jourdain. Brian Battle, favourite to beat AJ Fletcher. Mariano Rodriguez, a heavy favourite, rightly so, because Michelle Waterson has no chance. So I'll put the no chance up there. I now bet the house. Now that I've said that, bet the house on Waterson, because she's going to make me try and make me look like a fool. I do that well enough as it is. You know what I mean? Anyways, Dan Ige, again, underdog to beat Bryce Mitchell. And then I'll go with my gut instinct. My pick is Rafael Fiziev, although I'm very torn on it. So that, with Rafael Fiziev as the winner in the main event, is 1,451 to 1, which is pretty nice. But you take Fiziev out of there and you pop Mateus Gamrot in there, and it takes it to 1,916 to 1. And both of those, terrible bets, because usually I hit about 8 or 9 out of 11. Usually they're 12 fight accumulators, but this one obviously a fight is they're small card, I guess. But usually out of 12, I'll hit about 8 or 9. That's it. I mean, one time I hit 12 out of 13. That was close. That was close. I was already spending that money. But yeah, anyway, I don't know if I'll do that on this one, because as I say, I always make my picks after I've done my research on the fighters, before I've seen the odds. I don't look at the odds before I make my picks. Most of those are underdogs, especially Cody Brundage. That's probably the one that's going to go wrong. Hey, it might not. Yeah, I can only call it how I see it, but we'll have a look see how these bets pan out next week. Probably poorly, I would say. But as always, until next time, keep those odds long and those bets terrible.